What's up, everybody? It's me, Captain D's. Gonna be showing off my new Law deck for set 5. I think Law is gonna have a pretty good time against a lot of these decks, being able to bottom deck everything they play, putting out your tempo, and just kind of controlling the state of the game every single turn. So what this does is you can -3 Dawn and bottom deck anything that has 3k power or less, and then play something that's 4 cost or less. So what you can do from that is you generally use cards like this, the 4/5, and the Gordon. Both of these just minus power from the opponent's characters. You're able to bottom deck him and play your tempo cards. So with the 4 of the promo law, 4 of the Gordon, you have a lot of minusing, especially with the 4 of Otama as well. And sneak peek over here to some Gamma Knives, -5k as well. So you have a lot of minusing abilities. We have the 1 of Roundtable. Thought about cutting that one, but the 1 of Roundtable's been doing pretty good. So the key cards that you really want to look for in these matchups is definitely the Law. Law is one of the best cards in the game. The Shachi and Penguin, one of the major 2Ks of the deck. 3 Dawn or less, you gain 2 Rested Dawn. So you use the ability of Law, and you have about 5 Dawn, 6 Dawn, and then you get 2 Dawn back immediately and the 4/5. So it only really costs you 1 Dawn to be able to use this ability. So let's go down the list of all the abilities. We started talking about it briefly of the 4/5 promo law. Usually play this on 4 minus a 3/5 that they probably have played, and then play the Shachi and Penguin off the ability. You only go down 1 Dawn, so you're down to 3 Dawn. Can still play a Queen on curve. Can still play something like a Law blocker, and swing 7k and 5k if need be. You have a lot of options going forward after that. But if not, maybe they don't play a 3/5. Maybe they just play like a little blocker or a searcher. If you really want to get rid of it now, you can. You can still play something like a Shachi and Penguin. Maybe even a Beppo. Beppo is also another good option to hit from after you minus something to play us down for free. When it comes down, usually you'll have less Dawn than the opponent once you use Law's ability. This way it gains you back 1 Dawn, and then when Beppo swings, gains you back another Dawn. So it's a little bit slower than Shachi and Penguin with the ramping of the Dawn, but it can be a little better long term if you can get a second swing off as well. Then you gain back 3 Dawn altogether. But really the best thing to do on 4 Dawn would be to play ulti. The ulti page 1 combo is very strong. It puts a lot of tempo against a lot of decks. So let's take a little deeper dive into a couple of these cards. A couple of the newer additions since 4.5. Obviously, heats are extraordinarily good. I didn't really talk about those. Putting that on 3, and then dropping Queen the following turn. Even just getting down heat, it's a 6k almost every single turn. It's very good for a 3/6. But let's look at some of the newer cards for set 5 that may not have been talked about much. For one, this Kid Blocker is very good. I originally didn't have this in there. I had 4 Queens and I had some Utas in there, but I think this kid's very good. Just having a 5/6 blocker, already good. That's what we like Queen in there for, but we like it for the upside as well. We're minusing Dawn just about every single turn, whether playing for the ulti combo, whether using the leader ability, maybe the Law blocker as well, Queen blocker. Like, there's a lot of different ways that we can just minus Dawn, even the Gamma Knife as well. We're gonna get that Dawn back, and getting that Dawn back keeps us from running ourselves too thin. Because one of the major weaknesses of this deck is you run out of resources because you're putting them all on the board, and then they all swing. They kind of get attacked over. You have to either ditch cards from your hand or let them die, and then you end up running out of cards on the board and in your hand, and it gets kind of it runs dry quick. So this allows you to keep Dawn no matter what. So you're minusing Dawn if you don't have the Shachi and Penguin, or even if you have just a Beppo maybe. You gain the extra Dawn, you gain an active, you get to use it. Sometimes you might need it for that last minute push. You use all of your Dawn, and then you -3 Dawn just to play like a Rush Zoro, and then you get 1 active, and you can swing 6 now on your last swing. So it does help a little bit in those last bit pushes, but it's an overall very good card. 1k counter on top of a good body and gaining Dawn, gaining resources that we're always going to be running thin on is always a good option. I like it at 2. We don't need too many of them, but it's good when we see it. It's good if we can get that in there. Another really great addition to this deck is this Searcher Law. Obviously a 4 of. This card's insane. It searches for a Heart Pirate. It searches for the top 5 just as long as we have less Dawn, which we're almost always going to have less Dawn. Again, you can use obviously the Shotgun Penguin to get us close. I know if we use the Shotgun Penguin off the Law ability, the leader ability, and we'll be at even Dawn with the opponent. If they're decked at ramps, they'll already be ahead of us. If not, then we can use something like Queen ability or Gamma Knife, set us up, and then swing, and then use other abilities, gain back Dawn. We can kind of manipulate things how we see fit. But it's definitely a very, very good card. Most of the deck is Heart Pirates. It can search itself, so it's like these 4 copies, these 4 copies, these 4, these 4, and these 4, and then these 2 Gamma Knife. Technically, it would be these 3 of these, because one would be attacking, so it can't search the one that it's physically attacking. But the other 3 it can hit. I think it's about like 24 targets for it, ballpark. Gamma Knife is very good. I originally had 3 round tables in here, but Gamma Knife does it a little bit more efficiently. I don't always need all the Dawn investment for a round table. I usually use those for like Katakuris. I use it for anything 8K I would use it for at the time. 12K is obviously big bombs and stuff like that. But now, all those 8Ks, all the 6/8s, the 8/8s, anything that's just like big. Kid's a very good one. 8K is a pretty prominent number, especially with the vanillas as well. Whitebeard coming back. You don't need to spend 4 Dawn to minus 10K when you really only need 5K. So hitting those 8K marks, those 8K bodies with this Gamma Knife and then immediately being able to use the ability, very, very good. I could use 2 Dawn here. I could swing something with 7K to the face, and then immediately 1 Dawn here is minus, and then the 3 Dawn minus. All that 4 Dawn gets used and then minused, and then I completely bottom deck an 8K 4 Dawn to kill an 8K and develop a 4K, a 4 or 5 body. Very, very strong. And it gives the Dawn minus, so it kind of can be good, can be bad. It's usually pretty good in this deck because, one, we have like the Kid that we can replenish the Dawn with. Also, we have the abilities that we want to be lower Dawn than. We want to hover around ballpark 4 is a good number to be at because we can just drop something and bottom deck something if we need to. Between 4 and 7 Dawn is like where this deck thrives, I think. Obviously, if you have more Dawn and you're a little bit more passive, you can do bigger plays. But you don't want to be below 4 Dawn unless you're really, really pushing for game. And you needed just that turn, or maybe just like the 5/5/5/5/5 for the following turn. You really don't want to be down to like 0 Dawn, 2 Dawn, really ever. And you don't want to have too much Dawn because that means you're not really using the ability enough. So you want to have a nice, solid in between of that. And finally, the last card that I think deserves its spot from the new set is Karasu. Now, a lot of you are probably very, very confused on why Karasu is actually in here. It's not Law is not a revolutionary army, and that's fine. So it doesn't get the on-play ability, but that when attacking is so disgustingly cracked for this deck. This card has won me so many games that I may not have won. I should not have won. But because I had this out here, I had maybe 4 or 5 Dawn left, and I'm like, I have to push for game. I'll toss 2 on Karasu. I have 5 total Dawn, 2 on Karasu, swing to the lead. 7, it goes into 4, because we're minusing that 1K on the leader, and then I could just toss 1 Dawn onto 3 other attackers, and that's 6K, 6K, 6K into 4, 4, 4. This card immediately puts all the pressure. It just takes all the pressure that I have and escalates it higher. It turns 5K leaders into 4K leaders. It turns the red, purple Luffy and Whitebeard into 5K leaders. So it kind of takes away their edge, that big edge that they thought they had. Now I'm swinging 5s into 5s, and I feel very comfortable about that. Or when they play Kid, the 7-drop Kid, they immediately lose. They spend 7 Dawn just to gain 1k for a turn and control body. I can Gamma Knife that card, and I can Karasu if I want to go face. Like I can, this deck has so many options against a lot of the meta decks. I think it's gonna be able to thrive very, very well. And I only have 2 Zoros in here. I've seen lists run 4. I don't think it needs that much. I think if you play it and then you swing with it immediately, it's gonna lose not all of its value because it's still getting value of the swing. But I wouldn't want that early on, just on the end where I want to swing an extra 5, an extra 5, an extra 5, or kind of use my ability and throw out a sneaky Zoro. But I don't want 4 of them. I don't think the deck needs 4. I don't think the deck can handle all that Countess cards. You already have the Gordons and the Laws, and then the event cards as well. You don't need too many dead cards. You're already running out of cards already. I don't think this needs to be a 4. I think 2 is completely comfortable. The only couple cards I would say are possible additions. Since this deck was essentially, this is the final list that I've had just before the Whitebeard bans got undone. So, possible cards that you could add to it. Definitely Rad Beam is on there. I don't have any Rad Beams right now because I thought just having one counter card in the entire deck felt almost like lonesome. Like it just didn't fit. It felt out of place. It didn't need to be in there. Another good card that you might want to consider would be Uta. Very good card. Still falls within the range of the 4/5. It's good for the law ability. And that is all I have to say about that. This deck I think is going to be very, very good. Like I said, into a lot of matchups. I think it does well into Sakazuki. The Temple part we can still do pretty well against because we have Gordons. Gordons can get rid of their Borsalinos, their Rob Lucci's. We have obviously the 4/5s and the Otamas. Those can get rid of like the Kuzans. Anything the 5Ks, 6Ks, we have pretty much in the clear. I think this does better against Katakuri than it does against Enel, though, because Enel just likes to live a little bit too long, and if they keep struggling, or if they keep kind of protecting and living just enough, this deck gets a little, it runs out of steam a little bit, but that's where the Karasu will come in, because it kind of gives that extra push at the end. The 6K leaders, Karasu's MVP, it's so sick. Just build up a wall of 5Ks, have the Karasu down, and then just swing with like 6 or 7 Dawn with everything. You're chipping so much. They have to ditch everything for it. And then you win, if not that turn, the next turn. It's so good. But yeah, let me know what you think about the deck in the comments below. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned because we'll be dropping some gameplay for this deck very, very soon.